Haram asks Eun-jong to apologize, but Haram interrupts and tells Eun-jong that they should get the memory card to find out who placed it there. At that moment, Ms. Yoon comes in and claims that the camera belongs to her. Before Haram can question her further, Ms. Yoon smashes the camera under her shoe in front of everyone. After that, Ms. Yoon resigns from her job. Before leaving, she gives Seul-ki her contact number and asks her to win. A flashback shows that she had proof of school bullying in class 5 and showed it to the principal, but she was insulted and dismissed by the principal right away. She was also called into the director's office and got threatened by Haram. Seul-ki calls Ja-eun and Gae to meet on the rooftop. Seul-ki reveals that Gae was the person who informed Haram about the camera. She and Sung-yi were the informants of Seul-ki's plan to Haram all along. Ja-eun is sad because she was the person who told Gae about the camera last night, and Seul-ki asks her to leave. With the camera taken away, Seul-ki says they have to proceed with a plan B. After that, they return to the class and start the monthly voting. This time, both Seul-ki and Ja-eun get rank D, and no one gets rank F. Haram gets rank A as planned, and Gae gets rank D. The most surprising is that the class outcast, Eun gets rank A. Dua, Daeyeon, and Woo-yi are shocked that they dropped in rank. Haram is still rank A but is still mad that Ja-eun isn't rank F as she wanted. After the votes, Sunhwa hacks into the system and sends Seul-ki the names of the people who voted for her and Ja-eun. Haram was the one who voted for both of them, besides Jae-hyun. After the monthly vote, Daeyeon meets Soa and suspects that Haram did something with their votes. It seems like there is already some conflict in Haram's group. Meanwhile, there's also some tension in the relationship between Haram and Eun-jong because Haram's priority now is to debut as a K-pop idol, so she has to keep a low profile. Seul-ki also understands that Ja-eun's approach of being nice to their classmates is better than manipulation, like how Haram does and how Seul-ki used to do. So, she forgives what Sung-yi and Gae did and apologizes to Sun-yi in front of the class. When Haram arrives, Seul-ki proposes to everyone that since there is no rank F student anymore, they should stop the game. Daeyeon and Woo-yi get agitated and attempt to hit Seul-ki, but she tells them to behave and asks everyone if they're afraid of Haram and her group. They can let her know their decision through text. After that, Haram meets with Yi-won in private and asks Yi-won to reveal who voted for whom. Eun later shows up in the class. She has completely changed the way she looks and acts since she is now a rank S student. She even orders Daeyeon and Dua to go buy her a drink. Seul-ki realizes that Eun has been Haram's wildcard all along, and she is right. Eun had approached Seul-ki in the beginning as Haram had instructed her, in exchange for exam answers. Seul-ki's group brings Haram to the convenience store and introduces her to Sunhwa. He realizes she is the girl in the photos all over his sister Woo-ri's room. Seul-ki tells everyone that they should work together to break the perfect princess image of Haram. The next day, during cleaning time, when Haram and Eun are about to leave, Seul-ki stops them and asks them to clean as well. Eun claims that they are rank A and don't have to clean, but Seul-ki points out that Haram is rank A and is still cleaning like everyone else. Daeyeon shouts at Seul-ki, but Seul-ki isn't afraid and shuts her down. She tells Haram that it looks bad what she's doing, trying to act superior to everyone. What happens starts to change people's views of Haram. Yi-won meets her and refuses to reveal the details of the votes. Haram throws her MacBook into a water bucket and transfers the same amount of money to Yi-won instantly while walking away. After school, Seul-ki learns that Ja-eun lives alone and has a broken sink. So, Seul-ki decides to go to Ja-eun's house to help her fix it. Seul-ki is very handy and fixes it right away. After that, they make noodles and rice cakes and eat together. Here, Seul-ki also learns that Ja-eun's mom lives in a small town in Busan. Her mom moved back there after Ja-eun's dad died and has to take care of the farm. Ja-eun thinks she will move back with her mom after graduation, but her mom actually wants her to become a civil worker. Meanwhile, Seul-ki wants to be a documentary filmmaker. Right at that moment, Haram texts Ha-eun's phone, and Seul-ki sees it. Seul-ki asks if Ja-eun has known for a long time, and Ja-eun reveals that Haram was in the same elementary school as her before moving away. They used to be close, and a flashback shows Haram bragging to Ja-eun about her parents but then asking Ja-eun to pay for the snack because she had already used all her money to get a new Nintendo, and Ja-eun nicely agreed. In the present, Haram is upset that Ja-eun doesn't listen to her order to get out of the house and goes to meet her. The next day, Seul-ki meets with Jae-hyun and Haram and asks them to help spread a rumor about Ja-eun. The rumor is that Jaeun was a rank F student because she was betrayed. In class, people start to notice Jaeun and realize she's a nice person with the personality of a big sister, and she receives more liking from the girls, which angers Haram. So, she goes to Jaeun's mom's house. Meanwhile, Soo-ji's dad comes home and tells Soo-ji that he is being transferred and Soo-ji will have to move to another school next month. Soo-ji is surprised by the news and doesn't know if the time she has left will be enough to break the pyramid game. She asks Haram to go in front of the class to propose eliminating rank F privileges since rank F no longer exists. She also asks Daeyeon, Woo-yi, and Seul-ha to apologize to Jaeun for beating her up, leaving bruises and violating the game's rules. When they try to deny it, Soo-ji says she witnessed them hitting Jaeun brutally in the storeroom that day. Haram stares at Soo-ji and says that in the next ranking, there will for sure be a rank F. If not, the Yanka student privileges will be removed. That night, Jaeun calls her mom, and her mom mentions that someone named So-woon has visited. Jaeun is shocked to hear that news. For the next 2 days, Jaeun doesn't go to school. Soo-ji tries to call Jaeun, but it doesn't go through. She is more worried when Haram is absent as well. On the way home, Soo-ji sees one of her dad's superior and his wife taking out a lot of gift bags with the logo of Baekhyun Company from their car trunk. At home, Soo-ji realizes that the person who signed the transfer decision for her dad is also that superior. It turns out that he was bribed by Haram to transfer Soo-ji's dad so that Soo-ji couldn't stay to finish the plan with her friends. Soo-ji calls Haram, but Haram tells her she's busy and hangs up. Haram is actually outside Jaeun's house. She asks Jaeun if her mom knows why she bullied Jaeun so much. Jaeun admits that it was her fault. Then, suddenly, Haram uses a lighter to burn Jaeun's hand. At that moment, Soo-ji shows up. She knows that Haram has used a lot of money and power just to bully them and tells Haram that she will not move schools and will stick with Jaeun so that Haram can't bully Jaeun anymore. Soo-ji swears to defeat both the game and Haram. The next day, Jaeun finally goes to school. She tells Soo-ji that when the game is torn down, she will tell Soo-ji and their other friends a secret. A flashback shows that Soo-ji called her dad and asked to stay and graduate from Baekhyun High School, and her dad agreed. Before going to school, Jaeun and Soo-ji go to the convenience store and meet Sung-hwa, who shows them a folder of audio recordings from Soo-ji's phone. The recordings are evidence of Haram's group bullying, and Sung-hwa plans to publish them on a foreign YouTube channel. Sung-hwa is worried Soo-ji will have to deal with the same consequences his sister had to face, but Soo-ji isn't afraid. At school, Dua runs into Soo-ji, and the latter reveals that she accidentally mistook her phone for Dua's phone. But actually, she did it on purpose earlier that day to get the audio recordings of Haram's group bullying. After school, Soo-ji goes with her friends to the convenience store to listen to the audio recordings, but this time they couldn't get anything. The next day, they have a PE class. Eun Bae-il suddenly shows up next to Soo-ji in the locker room and tells her to wait for the scary surprise they have prepared for her. In the PE class, for some reason, the teacher is absent again, and Eun Bae-il steps up to explain a game that will be used for the final results. The rules of the game are so weird and absurd that a rank D student with 1 vote will be hit with the ball by a rank D student with 2 votes. Soo-ji realizes Haram is trying to replace a rank F student with the 4 rank D students that have 1 vote. She sends Haram a text to tell her to change the rule as a rank S student. Eun Bae-il and Haram reluctantly agree to the new rule suggested by Haram, that everyone should join the game and there will be 3 balls, 1 for rank A, 1 for ranks B and C, and 1 for rank D. The more people one hits with the ball, the higher their score. The game soon becomes chaos when they start hitting each other crazily, eventually targeting Gae and hitting her multiple times until Jaeun steps in front to shield her. Soo-ji asks her group to take the balls and keep them still for a while. When Haram's group screams and forces them to continue the game, they go around and lightly tap the ball on their classmates and still score points, because in all these crazy rules, there is no rule stating they have to violently hit the ball on their classmates to earn a score. Everyone in the class regrets what they had done before and follows Soo-ji's group, making Haram's group, especially Daeyeon, who is always aggressive for no reason, look bad. After the class, even more people want to join Soo-ji's team. The 4 go to have lunch on the rooftop and have a quick nap there. Meanwhile, Haram calls Daeyeon's dad and tells him that Daeyeon messed up at school and asks him to scold her. Daeyeon is pissed but doesn't dare to do anything. That evening, Haram catches Eun Jong and Haram in the class and tells them that she knows about their secret relationship and threatens to expose this information. Haram tells Haram that she has powerful parents as well and isn't afraid of Haram's little game. However, Haram also knows Haram's parents are against her debut as an idol and won't support her again if she fails to debut this time. Haram tells Haram to do whatever she wants, but Eun-jong is already on her knees, begging Haram to leave them alone. Meanwhile, Dae-yeon is at home and is brutally beaten up by her dad while her mom ignores it. At Haram's house, her dad arrives home and looks at his daughter, who is on her phone conspiring something. He asks his wife whether they should send Haram abroad, but she reminds him that Haram has proof of his money laundering, so they can't do anything against her will. Mr. Beck wonders why his mom likes Haram so much, and Iwa says it's because she's a psychopath and knows how to manipulate people. Meanwhile, Haram sends Seul-ki a picture of her dad shaking hands with Haram's grandma and asks if she still wants to upload the audio recordings. Seul-ki realizes that Doo-won knew her phone was swapped and informed Haram about Seul-ki's attempt to record their conversation. At that moment, Seul-ki sees her dad walk in with a document file from Baking Corporation. It turns out Haram's grandma has contacted her dad and asked to do a charity project with him. On the other hand, Haram keeps texting Seul-ki, sending her an article and threatening to frame her dad as someone who uses his daughter to corrupt and climb the social ladder. Seul-ki goes to the convenience store and tells Sung-hwa about what just happened. He tells her to delete the recording if she needs to, but Seul-ki still hesitates to do so.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe and like for more videos like this.